It's time for Media Meltdowns, and MSNBC is set to rebrand to MS Now in hopes of boosting its disastrous ratings. So, in memory of one of the most far-left divisive networks in America, we are bringing you an MSNBC extravaganza of unhinged leftie lunacy, starting with Joe Scarborough, who made this declaration less than 18 months ago.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth.
Okay.
And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
The truth, of course, plenty of that on MSNBC. And it's sad that they got rid of Joy Reid. You know, her analysis was always insightful. Here she is reporting that inflation isn't something that impacts every single American. It's actually just a word that Republicans have sort of made up.
The people I ever hear use the word inflation are journalists and economists, right? So that is not part of the normal lexicon of the way people talk. So it's interesting that Republicans are doing something they don't normally do, right? Which is not use the common tongue, right? Not use just common English to sort of do on their campaigns like they're doing with crime. But what they've done is they've taught people the word inflation, right?
Okay.
Most people who would have never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it.
Republicans have taught the American people the word inflation. Well, here is Joy Reid with some breaking news, discovering that summer is hot.
We begin tonight with the lucrative politics of climate collapse and the greed that is literally letting our country burn. Today, millions of Americans from Iowa to Maine are suffering through heat warnings, watches, or advisories. Cities across half of the country, like Chicago, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Detroit, Philly, and now New York, are hitting temperatures exceeding 90 degrees Fahrenheit, though it feels closer to 100. Many of these cities could experience heat indexes hitting 105 degrees by Sunday. These increasingly oppressive hot days aren't a coincidence. They aren't. They are the predictable impact of the climate crisis. And they're not just an inconvenience, they're also killing us at higher rates.
Okay, it's too much. But who could forget MSNBC's coverage of the 2024 presidential election, which was more like rolling coverage of comparing Donald Trump to Hitler.
But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally.
Yeah, charming stuff, MSNBC, despite all the backlash, the disastrous ratings, and of course the election result that saw Donald Trump win in a landslide. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow, who's on around $25 million a year to bring you quality journalism, will not back away from her big scoop that democracy is over in America.
We have a consolidating dictatorship in our country. And it sounds melodramatic to say it.
Yes, it does.
But just go with that for a minute.
Joining us now is Jeff Cruer, broadcaster and commentator. Jeff, I'm so sorry I had to put you through that by bringing back some of MSNBC's best or worst moments, who knows. But looking back at MSNBC's coverage, what do you make of it? Do you think the rebrand is going to help this network?
No. the network, I mean, you did what we really should do with MSNBC, and that's just lampoon them. I mean, it's just so ridiculous that these people consider themselves journalists. I mean, Joe Scarborough has no credibility. Joy Reid, she was so bad she got let go by the network. And, you know, Rachel Maddow has been, raising alarms for years now. And so, this rebrand, I don't think it's going to help their ratings. They're doing very, very poorly. And I think it's so bad that NBC doesn't want anything to do with them now. So they telling the network to get rid of the NBC in the title, call themselves MS Now. For me, it's MS Never. I mean, it's just a joke of a network.
Yeah.
But hey, it's good. It's good comedy. It's good comedy.
Yeah, well, you're not alone. MS Never. I kind of like that one. Well, Donald Trump has blasted the rebrand and he did not hold back.
Then you turn to CNN, which is fake news and nobody watches it, or MSDNC, they changed, MSNBC, they changed their name now because they were so bad. But they're the worst, owned by Comcast, run by a guy named Brian Roberts, who doesn't have a clue. He's terrible, terrible manager. But they're not, I don't think, selling it. They're changing the name because they're ashamed of it, and they're disassociating it from NBC, which is also fake news. You know, they should be ashamed of that too.
He's right, Jeff. They're changing the name because they're ashamed of it.
You know, he knows television. I mean, for all of his years on The Apprentice, I mean, NBC should be so good to Donald Trump because he made them so much money when he hosted The Apprentice on that network for so long. But they're one of the worst networks in covering him. I mean, all the mainstream news networks are just terrible. So he really is always sounding off about the fake news because the media here is just so biased. I mean, they're all afflicted with Trump derangement syndrome. It's really amazing. They're having a difficult time because he's having a very successful second term. So they're very unhappy.
Isn't it crazy? They're unhappy and Trump is making America great again. But I want to talk to you about John Bolton. The FBI agents raided the home and office of Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, on Friday morning, following allegations that he sent highly sensitive classified documents to his family from a private email server while working in the White House. I want to get your thoughts on this, but can we just take a look at the media's coverage and just compare it to the coverage during the raid of Donald Trump's home? This is Andrew McCabe on CNN discussing the raid on Trump's home. Just take a look.
This is something that would have been planned out and reevaluated and legally examined from every possible angle by the entirety of the leadership structure of both organizations. So let's remember that to get a search warrant in any case, whether it's you or I or the former president, you have to go before a federal judge and convince that judge that there is probable cause to believe both that a federal crime has been committed and that evidence of that crime is contained within the space you have described in your warrant request.
And then what does he have to say when it's a raid against John Bolton?
I have absolutely no doubt that Mr. Bolton will have very good counsel, and they will attack this in a full-throated and complete way, as they should, right?
Jeff, very different. That's unusual.
For one, I can't believe any network has hired Andrew McCabe. I mean, he should possibly be indicted himself for the role that he played in the whole Russia collusion nonsense. Secondly, now these Democrats who were cheering when Donald Trump's house was raided are having, as you could see, a much different attitude now that things have been turned around. And John Bolton, we talked about Trump derangement syndrome, is one of the worst. I mean, he was a guy that was given a great position by President Trump in his first administration, turned against him, and has just been vicious. So when President Trump was asked about it, I mean, he mentioned his own house was raided. So, I mean, he certainly knows how it is to be on the receiving end of a raid. And I don't think that they went into John Bolton's wife's closet or his son's bedroom. I think that was what Donald Trump had to endure.
You're right. Now, I want to talk to you about Cracker Barrel's rebrand. You know, Cracker Barrel is an iconic American brand, arguably one of the most loved brands in America. And Cracker Barrel reportedly enlisted 3 marketing agencies to come up with their new logo and remodel. And the agents collaborated for months to come up with making the brand more generic. And this is their pop-up event in all places of New York City.
Why the hell do I work so hard? I can't worry about my problems. I can't take them when I...
Okay, so that is pathetic, but it's been accused of going woke. Now its share price has plummeted 17% over the past month. Cracker Barrel has apologised, saying if the last few days have shown us anything, it's how deeply people care about Cracker Barrel. We're truly grateful for your heartfelt voices. What has not changed and what will never change are the values this company was built on when Cracker Barrel first opened in 1969. Hard work, family, and food made with care. Look, the statement goes on. But Jeff, this is not being received well. Customers are calling out this statement for saying, you know, we hear you, but we're not not going to change the logo back, and we're also not going to stop funding Pride events. What's your reaction to all this?
It's just another tragedy. This is another iconic American brand that they've destroyed. So they got rid of the old gentleman. They got rid of the barrel. They got rid of the Southern charm. They got rid of all the Americana, and they created this ridiculous logo that, a kid could have done. But I think they paid millions and millions of dollars for someone to get rid of all of it and come up with something generic. The interior of the restaurant has changed. So now you feel like you're in a hospital cafeteria. I mean, it's just very antiseptic. You don't have that kind of warmth that you had in the Cracker Barrel. We used to love going to Cracker Barrel. It's a great place to go when you're traveling. You feel like you're at home. You feel comfortable there. Comfort food. I mean, it's just a place where you can have fun, buy something in the store. It's like an old Southern sort of a feeling. It's something that was extremely popular. And these woke idiots have, destroyed this goodwill that had been built up over all these years. The same sort of marketing geniuses came up with the Bud Light campaign with Dylan Mulvaney to use a transgender activist to market a beer to conservative customers. I mean, it's just incredible. So I'm upset because I really did always like Cracker Barrel, but now I'm going to have to, reserve, my judgment for a while to see if they can rectify this. But it's a mess. They've really created a mess.
They have created a mess, and it appears that apology is not going down well. I think these marketing experts need to remember where they are at the moment. It's 2025. Donald Trump is president. I think woke is dead, or, the saying, go woke, go broke. But let's talk about what is happening in the UK. I cannot believe this story. Asylum hotel operators have been told they have to house convicted foreign criminals. The Telegraph is reporting this, and also staff at the hotels must be trained on unconscious bias. This comes amid increasing pressure on the government to close hotels across the country. We've seen protests. I mean, what is going on in the UK?
The UK is lost. I mean, I'm very worried about the UK. I was watching a video the other day of a gentleman who had a flag in his yard, a proud flag, because he's English. He wanted to display his flag, and someone was giving him a hard time for having his country's flag in his yard, saying that it was offensive to people. So I think they've had a succession now of very, very far left prime ministers. They've moved away. I remember the days of Margaret Thatcher when you had the Iron Lady there, and you had a country that was, I think, in a much different direction. The only thing that can save the UK is Nigel Farage. And if he can possibly win and turn the country around. It's been overrun with people that have come there illegally. These socialist policies are not working. And I think the country's in real trouble.
Many people would agree with you that the only person who can really save the UK is Nigel Farage. You can see why he's well ahead in the polls. He's also announcing plans to enable the arrest, detention and deportation of hundreds of thousands of people who come to the UK in small boats. I suppose people look at America, they see what Donald Trump has been able to do in such a short period of time, where he's carrying out these ICE deportations, the border is closed. And so I think there's kind of this desire or this hope that in the UK, someone like Nigel Farage can do the same thing.
Well, Trump has really provided the roadmap, I think, for other countries to follow, because we were going in that same direction under Biden and Obama, and things got out of control here. And Trump has really turned things around. He's only been president for 7 months, and he's made tremendous progress. So that can be maybe an encouraging sign to people in the UK and other countries that they can maybe turn things around, but they've got to change the leadership. They can't keep electing people like they have been. So I wish Nigel Farage well. He's got a lot of support here in our country. Many people admire him here in America and support what he's trying to do and are rooting for him. But we know it's an uphill climb, even though he's ahead in the polls, because it's not going to be easy to overturn that in the UK.
Jeff Crouer, thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour. Always brilliant to speak with you.
Thanks for having me.